Welcome to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. Are you proud to be Kenyan under the Ruto administration? Yes or no? With a reason. My feelings scandal. Personally, I'm not proud to be Kenyan under the Ruto administration, and I will be kind enough to tell you the reason why. Ever since William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua took oath of office and ascended to power, they have decided to inject forcefully the Western culture into our country. A few months ago, the apex court in our land, the Supreme Court, ruled that the LGBTQ plus community has got their right of association. And we know this is a white man culture because just our neighbors, Uganda, refused that culture, and the IMF was on their neck, withheld some aid and wanted to punish him. But our president decided that he wanted to stand in the middle, pleasing the church, because he says the church helped him to campaign and their win came from God. So he decided to use the courts to accept LGBTQ. Now, just today, the National Council on Administration of Justice, working together with the National Committee on Criminal Justice Reform, submitted a bill, the Penal Code Amendment Bill 2023, to the National Assembly. And in that bill, they want to amend Section 153, 154, and 155 by repealing those sections, amending what we call Section 4 of the Penal Code. What exactly does this mean? Those sections that I have mentioned deal with prostitution as a crime and the punishment that should accompany them. Section 153 declares in no uncertain terms that any man or any male person who will be found guilty to be aiding prostitution or engaging in prostitution will be liable to punishment. In other words, if you meet a prostitute and you are engaging in sex with her, you are also a prostitute. And if you are gaining directly from the earnings of prostitution or you are aiding prostitution as a man, then you are punished. Section 154 deals with female prostitution. If a female is engaging in prostitution, earning her living through prostitution, then she is liable and punishable, because Section 154 recommends as such. And Section 155 deals with a house or any room that is being used by a prostitute, the brothels, or any room that is proven beyond reasonable doubt that a man or a woman living or frequenting that house or a room or a home is believed to be earning or living under the as a result of the earnings from prostitution. Then that section 155 allows the courts to issue a search warrant to a police officer who can storm that house and ransack and search for the truth. So those sections, if the bill that has been submitted, the Penal Code Amendment Bill 2023, will pass through Parliament, then it will be normal. Prostitution will no longer attract such penalties, and instead, Madam Martha Koome, who is also the head of the National Council on Administration of Justice, is proposing that when you find someone who has engaged in sex, then some of the punishment that can be given include probation, community service, attending rehabilitation centers, and issuance of verbal sanctions. It will no longer attract such heavy and severe punishment. Now, when I looked at this, I said, we are degenerating into a Western culture. And that is why I told you that I'm not proud to be a Kenyan under the Ruto administration. What we are witnessing is the white man using the Ruto administration to dump their culture. Just the same way they have forced us with GMO, just the same way they have forced us with the LGBTQ, just the same way they decided that all the subsidies must be removed, just like they decided that we must impose heavy taxes on Kenyans. They are now at it again. Ladies and gentlemen, we have said this over and over again, that we need to put Kenyans first and any other person secondary. I remember very well when President Obama came to the country and he confronted the former President Uhuru Kenyatta with the issue of LGBTQ and gay rights and lesbian rights. Our president did not mince his words. He told him that this is not a right issue as they are trying to put it. This is a societal issue. And he told him that as Kenyans, we are on top and in charge of our things. There are things that we can emulate from the West, from America or UK or something. But we cannot take everything. There are things that we must look at and say, no, this is not for us. And you see, they are pegging it to a human rights kind of discussion, so that you say that, they also have their rights. But this is a societal problem. It didn't end there. There's a time when a CNN journalist confronted Uhuru Kenyatta with the same. Uhuru Kenyatta told her off, and he meant his words. The current president, William Ruto, was also confronted immediately. He was declared a president-elect, and he was in the CNN, and in their usual manner, they will always ask an African president whether they will accept the issue of LGBTQ. And William Ruto promised that Uhuru Kenyatta was on spot on, that we have millions of Kenyans who are jobless, and those are the kind of things that we need to look at. But now, you've just realized that our president will speak from both sides of the mouth. He declared that he will not accept this, yet is using the courts and accepting all these things. We are encouraging prostitution. We have allowed LGBTQ+. I find it very funny that every Sunday we have caravans and motorcades of the president and the deputy president and cabinet secretaries and the officials of the government, the majority leader, and they converge that they are praying. They want to say that they're praying for Kenyans. They want to pray for rains. They want to pray for peace. They want to pray for economy to grow. Yet we allow prostitution. We allow LGBTQ. We allow same-sex marriage. We are mocking God and we are playing around. We must preserve our culture. We must not be allowing the white man culture to dominate us. I mean, this is neocolonialism. We don't value our culture. And this is because I keep on telling you that these are the people who aided William Ruto's victory. He has no choice but to accept it. Let me tell you something. We are not holier than thou, and I know prostitution has been happening around us. Members of the LGBTQ, the gay and lesbians, they are here with us and we see them around. But we must not legalize these things, because we are giving them the authority, we are giving them weight to practice it right in our eyes. When we grew up, or those people, the parents, our fathers and mothers, our grandparents, they grew up in a society that was very organized. But when the rot begins from the top, I mean, I pity for our children, and I can assure you, for those people who have got children in high schools and colleges, you know what I mean. Because this thing is thriving in those institutions. Some of the heads of those institutions, including lecturers and teachers, in the colleges are practicing it. Now that it has been legalized, and we are now opening and expanding it to prostitution. And you see, when something has been declared by a court of justice, ladies and gentlemen, it carries weight. And this is just the beginning. I'll not be surprised if more will be here, because someone sitting from Washington or England has said it. It is funny that this is happening before King Charles jets into the country. Is it a coded message of what he wants? I really feel very sad for our country. I really feel very sad that under the Ruto administration, under the Kenya Kwanza government, these things are now happening. Do you think, and let me ask you, do you think things like LGBTQ and prostitution, same-sex marriage, did not exist during the Moi regime for the 24 years he was in power? Do you think these things never existed in the Kibaki regime for the 2 terms, 10 years that he worked? Or do you think these things never existed when Uhuru Kenyatta was the president? Even Uhuru Kenyatta's victory was aided by the Western. That is why Chris Coons came here very fast in 2017 and, talked to them to shake hands with Raila Amolo Odinga. Even Mwai Kibaki in 2017, after rigging those elections, 2007, they shook hands and Raila became the prime minister. But he didn't accept every crap from the West. Uhuru never accepted such crap. But William Ruto is accepting such stupidity and crap into our country just to please the Western powers. This is wrong. We cannot use euphemism we cannot sugarcoat this. This is wrong. There's no any other word to put it. This is wrong. And I want to plead with this government. Please let us put Kenya first. Let us value our culture. Let us value ourselves. We should not even waste money on every Sunday going for interdenominational prayers, because this is a mockery to God. As a Bible reader, whenever you mock God, you are preparing for destruction. I can assure you. And if you think I'm lying, go and read what happened to Sodom and Gomorrah.